Hi, welcome to our live stream. Sorry about the delay, but I am grateful if anybody can make it today. If all of you can make it today, that would be wonderful. I'm Jen. For those of you who don't know me, I teach conversation English. I see 7 people here, yay, who were able to make it right on time. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to. I see all of your comments. Thank you, Yuki, for informing everyone that I was going to be 25 minutes late. 3 minutes early, can we say that somehow? So yeah, not really, I guess. But yeah, here we are. We're in our lesson. Hello, hello. Hey, Carmen, darling. Welcome. Do you have the day off? Will you be able to hang out with us today? Let me know. Thanks, Yuki. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Yuki. Thank you very much, Yuki. Hey, Yuki. Hello, Lorena. Hello, everyone who's able to join. So, yeah. So, big news. I will start doing my quiz on YouTube as well. So, starting next week, I will have it on Thursday morning, just because this December we are running around like crazy. I just came home, made a coffee, went to the bathroom, and then hopped onto this live stream. But it's like one thing after the other the whole month long. We were in Munich yesterday. We just flew back. We're away again. I shouldn't say this, but we're away again this weekend. So it's just a lot right now. So thank you for dealing with flexibility, with times and everything with me. I really appreciate it. Quiz that I usually do on Instagram on Iwa, I will no longer be doing there. It will be here on YouTube. I'll give it a shot. Next week it will be on Thursday because we will be busy on Saturday. So, but otherwise I will move that also to Saturdays. A lot of people who voted said they would love to have it on a Saturday morning German time. So yeah, maybe you can let me know how that works for you as well. If not, you can always catch the replay. I will save it here for you too. Yeah, so let's see. Yay, Thursdays. So it will be actually the quiz next week will be Thursday morning at 9, but normally it will be on Saturday morning at 9. Our time, Carmen, German time, Central European time. Hello, Natalia, darling. Nice to have you on board. Okay, so folks, I'm going to say thank you to Yuki again for informing everyone. It's cool that you can like have this communication before a lesson starts. I love that. I didn't really realize that. Saturdays I have to work. No. Well, sometimes it will be on Thursdays. Next week it will be on Thursdays. Everyone's schedule is just crazy in December. Exactly. So thank you for your understanding. And ours is particularly crazy right now. And then we'll have a little bit of break. And then at the end of January, we're going to we're going to Uganda, and then we're going to South Africa, and we'll be gone for a long period of time. So yeah, but I'm still going to do lessons. You know me. I never really go on vacation. What is vacation and why? Y'all are my vacation. Actually, that's how I see it. Hey, Michaela, darling, welcome, welcome. Thank you, everyone, for your patience with me. Let's hop into our first poll question. Let's see what we've got. I'm curious to hear what you have to say. So, boom, here we go. And just in case somebody's watching this live stream that has not heard the term pet peeves, now for the 100th time, pet peeves are the little things that annoy us. Like somebody cutting you off in traffic, or maybe somebody can give me some examples just in case somebody has not been to one of my lessons and and doesn't know. Uganda, yes, Uganda. Crazy, that sounds so good. So happy for you. Thank you, dear. This will be a great trip for sure. Yes, I hope so. We're going to go hiking with gorillas. So they take groups of people in Uganda up through the forest, and then you are there in the forest with gorillas. I'm a little freaked, I have to say, because, that is a scary thing. These are wild creatures. There's not a fence around you and the wildlife. But yeah, no, you got to do things that are a little bit off the beaten path. So we'll do that. I'm really excited. So, folks, we've got a poll. What bothers you the most when you're out in public? And we had a quiz today, my last one on EWA. And it was one of the questions was public spaces. So this would be, out walking down the street in the city, or a public space could be like at a movie theater or any place where other people are around and your behavior can affect theirs. So is it A, loud conversations on the phone? People, oh, this is exact. This is exactly the question that I had on my quiz today. For those of you, Yuki, you answered this, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, okay, this is a repeater. For those of you, I think a lot of you are not at the quiz this morning, so this is new. Yuki, you know this one, and I know how you're going to answer, but go ahead and answer away. So A, B, C, D. Yeah, hey, Brigitte, darling. Hey, cool, you're here. All the mentioned points. Okay, so then since a lot of these are super annoying and are total pet peeves, what are some things that you can add? Everybody's saying all of these things. So can you think of any other ones? Let's brainstorm a little bit together. Since this is kind of the most useless poll ever, let's turn it into something positive. And yeah, what are some things that you can say that really bug you with when people are on the street, things that they do? Carmen, for you, it's a solid B. People who get too close, you need your personal space. Okay. And what other things can you add for me? What can you say that you would say is like something else that's really annoying that people do? For me, Carmen, please help me. I don't know why, but I feel like this happens so much in Germany that especially in wintertime, people are sick and they just cough into the air. Not everyone, of course, but there's just, some people have not gotten the memo that we do this nowadays. So for me, coughing and sneezing without trying to cover yourself is definitely a pet peeve. I'm always like, I can hold my breath, but I tried to walk past them like this. So B for sure. Yeah, I saw just a few hours ago. Exactly, Yuki. Definitely C, especially when I see the rest of cigarettes on the beach. Yeah, that's just unfair. Judgmental looks. Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, so people who kind of like look you up and down and try to make you feel sort of inferior in some way. Oh gosh, yeah, that's not nice. Also in Germany, I don't know why, but like when you have a baby, everyone feels they can come up to you and tell you what you're doing wrong. Your baby is dressed too warmly. Your baby is dressed too cold. There's like a million things they will come and tell you that you are doing wrong. Your baby is too big or too small for one of these little baby carriers. So that was always a pet peeve of mine in public. When I took my kids out, everybody felt the need that they needed to help me parent my child. Hi, Precious. Totally agree with you. I hate the smell of smoke and marijuana. Yeah, and bad or too long. Oh yeah, bad perfume or too strong perfume. I hate being too close to people also because of this and because of them coughing uncontrollably. Definitely. And I think actually, like we were in Amsterdam, obvious place for pot smoke. Totally. Marijuana. You can also say pot, P-O-T. And that's an obvious place. Everybody knows you can smoke there. So you expect that in a way. But in New York, in Berlin, like every big city, it feels like everywhere you go, you smell the smell of pot. I find it's not a smell that I like. After a while, like in the beginning, I'm kind of like, that kind of smells good. And then I'm like, nah, I don't want to smell that anymore. It's disgusting. It's just as bad as cigarette smoke. So yeah, that's for me, definitely. So we have perfume, we have judgmental looks, we have smoke. What else have we got? So yeah, lots of comments. Thank you everyone for participating. Let's go on to our next question. I'm going to pull up our info so that we can see what's going on. I just lost it. And yeah, so we're going to do this. So yesterday or on Tuesday, we talked about relationships, pet peeves in relationships. Pet peeves in public spaces, I think we did too. This is the end of that. And we also did at the workplace. So now let's move on to social situations, okay? People who tell you that you gain weight. Precious, where do you live? That would be horrible. I just watched a video. There's a Precious Vietnamese girl. A lot of you know her. She's a lot of followers, and she lives in Germany with her German boyfriend. And she was talking about how in Vietnam, people just come up to you and tell you you're fat or overweight. And I found that so shocking. No one would ever do that to you, or very, very, very few people would ever have the nerve to do that to you in the West. But evidently in Vietnam, no problem. You just could tell someone that they're overweight, and that's what you say. Precious, is that how it is in your country? People who don't respect cues. Awesome. Hey, Hitoko, darling. I have had a hectic day, but I'm happy that you're able to squeeze me into the end of your day. Thank you. Hello, Mubarak. Hello, welcome to you. So let me do this. Let me get rid of this poll. Boop. And my question to you, let's do a 2-minute brainstorm of things that can be pet peeves in social situations. So social situations at parties, at maybe let's say at get-togethers, family events. What are some things that bother you in these sorts of situations? What can you tell me? Let me do a little timer here for us, and let's go. What can you tell me? Excuse me. Okay, oh yes, okay, you're from the other day. Okay, so Guadeloupe, is it Guadeloupe in the Caribbean? I have to figure out how to pronounce that. I know you're Guadeloupean, but Guadeloupe, am I saying that correctly? Please help me, my dear. Please, please help me. And welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you for coming on board. People who ask me if I am pregnant is a big pet peeve. In this case, not Peter peeve, but pet peeve. I know I'm just fat, thank you. Maybe you're voluptuous, my dear, just voluptuous. Hey, Tony, welcome on board. My question to you, we've got a minute and 17, 16, 15 seconds to answer. What are some pet peeves in social situations? When you're at a party, when you're out and about, when you're at a gathering, when you have friends come over, when you're with your family in some sort of social function, what can you tell me? So talking out loud, okay? And so talking out loud in this case, do you mean like interrupting what Natalia wrote? Or do you mean just being loud? Curious to hear what you all have to say. Yes, good pronunciation, Guadeloupe. Okay, thank you, my dear. Thank you, thank you. And do you need to say Caribbean together with that? Guadeloupe, Caribbean. So I have to Google exactly where that is. I'm so curious. But I will do this after the lesson. I'm gonna take a screenshot just because my brain, I'm like Dory from Nemo. And yeah, I forget everything. So let me take a screenshot so that I can find this later on. Thank you. All right. At parties, I don't like when people talk about politics, especially when they support the AfD. Okay, so that's the more German conservative party for those of you who might not know. That goes more in kind of to right-wing territory. It's kind of controversial these days in Germany. Using the phone at lunch and dinner. Yeah, you're trying to have a conversation and someone's checking their Instagram. I have to say, I can be guilty of this. Whenever I post something, I'm really excited about my numbers. I'm a numbers nerd. Especially now on YouTube, I'm like, oh, do I have more people who have watched it? So it's a bad thing. You just have to leave that phone in your pocket. Asking when you are going to have a kid. Ooh, another big one. Or in a relationship, when are you getting married? We get that a lot, and we are never going to get married. So yeah, I mean, we think it's kind of funny. But I can imagine if you've never been married and you're not quite sure if you would even want to go down that route, then yeah. Oh, Yuki, what was the question? So in social situations and at parties, at family gatherings, things like that, do you have anything that is a pet peeve, something that bothers you when people do this. So people who come to our house empty-handed. Okay, yeah. So they don't bring like a host or hostess gift. Okay, so they just come and expect to be entertained like the king and queen of England. When you're at a party and don't want to dance with someone and they insist, okay, or he insists, yes, that can be also a little dangerous. I don't know. So you can hope that helped you with a question. What I don't like at parties are people who create problems like fights when they're drunk. Yeah, that's unnecessary for sure. And I have it here. There's a cultural thing where in the States, when we are at parties, or let's say that you have people over at your house for dinner, okay? And in the States, you go to someone's house and like literally by 10:30, everyone is picking up their stuff and going home. On a Friday night, maybe that's a little early. But that's the cultural norm. And in Germany, it's the exact opposite. If you invite people to your home, they might still be there at 2 a.m. Because there's this thing here where you don't want to be the first person to say goodbye. So there's like this long extended period. And at every party, there is that sweet spot when everything has been said, everything has been eaten, and everything has been drunk, and it's time to go. But somehow nobody gets the memo here. So that's sometimes for me like a bit of a problem because I'm like, okay, we're having people over. Are they going to stay forever? Or are they going to be, a little bit more American in this and leave at a decent time? I think 10:30 is too early, especially if you're having great conversation and great wine and great food. But, 2 a.m., I turn into a pumpkin at some point. Excuse me, using my smartphone when talking in English. I am not checking SMS, but you just using dictionary to find words to communicate with you. Oh, sorry, Yuki. Okay, no worries. Participate how and if you can, dear. I love Americans. My neighbors are really German. They stay until till 3 to 5 a.m. and are so loud. It's a German thing, right? In Latin America, we have the parties. There is always a lot of food. I think that's nice. I think that's so important because it really shows your guests that you just want to feed them. When they throw a party, I mean, yes. If there's a German party, it's going to 3 to 5 a.m. They're getting the maximum bang for their buck. In America, at a party, like it depends, but usually people are gone by 12. You just go home. But depending on the party and the age, of course. When people come over to your home to have dinner and start explaining what you're making wrong in cooking, yeah, and I can imagine. I think Italians are very particular about the food, and they will, they're passionate about food, and so I can imagine, Alessia, if somebody comes and starts trying to micromanage in the kitchen, you could just be like. Bye, Mavarik. Enjoy your prayer. If you're still around afterwards, if we're still around, you're more than welcome to join. Enjoy your afternoon, dear. All right, so let's see. Where are we headed to next? When people eat my dish while watching TV and not paying any attention to the food, it makes me feel terrible. I can totally understand that, Yuki. You put so much time and love and effort into your dishes that's just a sacrilege. I don't like to be asked by a person who has a nice career, why are you not working? It's none of your business, I say in my mind. Oh, Hitoko, I know. You're like this, but you're like, you told us that a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, so many people. And I find also, like, as a woman, I don't know how it is as a woman in the West, sometimes you cannot win. Like, if you work and you have a good career and you work a lot and your kids are with a nanny or so, then it's like you're seen as like someone who's not taking care of your kids. But if you stay at home, then it's like, why don't you get a job? It's like you cannot win sometimes as a woman in the Western world, I find at the moment. So do what you want to do, and who cares what anybody else thinks? So, Philippine madams, on the Ivory Coast, even people come to your house at 6 p.m. They expect to be served a full meal, but if the French culture, or in the French culture, I think you mean, but in the French culture, it's only time for a nice tea and appetizers. Okay, but then I don't even know. So I guess in the Ivory Coast, then you need to plan always to feed extra people just in case somebody shows up. I guess it's also a culture where you can just ring the doorbell and it is what it is. I have to say, I'm happy. I'm happy I don't live in a culture like that. I think that would stress me out because I'm either dressed like this, or Peter says that I look like Eminem's. I look like Michelle Pfeiffer or whoever it was for as Eminem's mom in 3 Miles. So yeah, so I'm either doing really totally trashy or like kind of put together. So I don't want people just showing up. The reality is that everybody has their own Italian recipe. Aha. And then comes all of the people with their own opinions about how to make that special dish. Ooh, okay, okay. Yuki, people also tend to ask you why you don't have children. And that is also none of your business. Definitely. Absolutely. Why are you not having children? Why do you not have children? These are classic things that people just need to stay out of. Yes, exactly. You have to have meals in your freezer. Aha, that's the clever thing to do. Okay. Precious, you invite people at home. You want them to be at ease, so you tell them to make yourself at home. Sometimes you regret that because they have bad manners. Ooh, so then they treat your home with disrespect, I guess. I don't know why people want to ask these kinds of questions. I know. I don't know. Yeah, it's strange. But yeah, but it seems to be pretty universal. Good point. I hate it when people ask if I'm sick only because I don't wear makeup. Yes, oh, totally. If I don't have makeup on, it's hell. Definitely. Like, are you sick? What's wrong with you? Are you feeling okay? It's like, this is natural me. Sorry. It's just not very pleasant. When people tell you that you look a little peaked. Oh, okay. So I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that. Like a little bit tired or a little bit stressed out. Yeah, let me know, Lorena, a little bit more what you mean. Okay, guys, thank you so much for adding all of these brilliant comments. Thank you very, very much. Let's take a look, and I have a banner for you that I would like to share. So let's hop onto that. And here we go. How do you usually react when someone does something annoying to you? So, Yuki, somebody asks you why you don't have kids. Hitoko, somebody asks you, well, you kind of already mentioned what you do. You're thinking none of your business, but you smile. But when somebody asks you about why you don't have a job, for those of you who get asked things that are uncomfortable, what are some things that you do? Do you address it? Do you not address it? And when you address something, then you kind of confront it. You engage in the comment. So you try to get people to explain it to you. Stressed and tired, both. Yes. Yeah. Because like, what are you supposed to do with that? You look really stressed. Well, yes, maybe I am. It's like it's so unconstructive. Unless they hand you like a gift certificate for a massage, you look really stressed. What? Oh. That's fun. Okay, yes, you get a massage and you get all of these magical fireworks that happen too. Ibrahim, nowadays, nothing. You don't say anything. Let me get rid of this. Okay, so thank you for your first comment for today. Yeah, so for me, when somebody annoys me, It depends on how much you have fireworks. Yay, massage. You look stressed. Here's something positive, right? That's what you want to hear. If you're going to give some sort of critique like that, back it up with something positive. I will give the person a sassy look and a smooth answer. Good for you. But for me, like if I'm going to address something like that, I have to really like them. Like if I address something, then it's because I don't want that to be in the middle of our friendship. You know, I care enough to talk about it, and I would address it in the most neutral way possible. But I would only address it, I think, if I really felt like this friendship is important to me, and it's not really a hi-bye friend, someone who, yeah, who doesn't really matter to me. I would say that. So other people, do you address these things or just let them fly? You know, just deal with it. It's more their problem. Can't teach anyone anything. These can be sort of excuses why we don't deal with these kinds of things. So, yeah. I don't know. Nobody's answering. So let's move on to the next thing. That's fine too. We have a really busy lesson today. So let's move on to our next point. If some of you are still typing and it's taking you time, no stress. I would love to hear what you have to say. I'll move on to the next point, but yeah, you're more than welcome to add whatever you want. Do you think people should point it out when others do something annoying? Why or why not? That's kind of more or less like what we just had. But I mean this more from a cultural aspect. Is it okay for people to do that? Like, Carmen, I would say for us in Germany, it's okay to do that. Like you can absolutely say, this is not correct, that's not correct. It's not culturally inappropriate to do that. In the States, it kind of is. Like, I mean, I've said before, in the States, moms tell their kids, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So you will find a lot of people kind of like not saying negative things, but saying a lot of positive things. Let's see. It depends. Oops, hold on. I've missed some comments. I've missed some comments. Sorry about that. All right. So Tony, I usually react in a bad way. Okay. Something like, are you crazy, dude? What's going on with you? All right. I don't know if that's bad. Maybe the kind of, if you do it in a joking way, then it can also kind of come across as a good thing, or like not so direct way of asking. I could give them the cold shoulder. Ooh, I love this idiom. So if you give someone the cold shoulder, you ignore them. Right? So my children, when I try to tell them what they need to do in life, they kind of give me the cold shoulder. Probably rightfully so, but they should listen to me. Mother knows best. Nowadays, I take a breath and try not to be rude. Not always easy. I hear you. I just changed the topic. That's also a great way of handling this. It depends. Sometimes I smile. Sometimes I get angry. So it can also depend on like the set of on the mood that one is specifically in. Carmen, if it's a friend, I address it directly in a friendly kind of way. Oops, what does that say? For example, he makes noises with his hands. Oops, sorry, his hands. He is nervous so often now. When I look at him, he knows and he stops. You've trained him well. So angry, okay. It depends on the situation. It depends on the relationship with that person and also how serious it is. Hello, Omar. Okay, Omer. Sorry. Hey, Omer from Instagram, I think. I'm going to say my Turkish friend. So let's move on to our next point. Let me get rid of our banner here. And I have a nice slide for us on ways that we can tell people that they are getting on our nerves. Okay, like what you can say. So I have some nice kind of different variety of ways of doing this because I think that's important. I know that Yuki, love it when we have phrases. So this is one's for you. So tiny print. I'm probably going to read from here. Maybe you can give me a little feedback and see if you can tell me if you can see this or not. Let me pull this up. Hello to you. Yes, of course. Yay. Okay, nice to have you here. Okay, so let's see. So you can, number one, be direct but polite, right? I'm sorry, but I'd appreciate it if you could stop. right? And in this case, stop doing that. And after the stop, you're going to typically use ing. So I'm sorry, but I would appreciate it if you could stop eating so loudly, talking so loudly, drinking so disgustingly, walking so close to me. So the verb is going to get the ing after this word stop, okay? Number two, explain why it's bothering you. So it's making me uncomfortable when whatever you do, whatever that person is doing, can you please stop? When you talk on the phone so loud, when you eat something and when you smack, no, when you smack your food. I try not to be rude on top, and kind and softly offer the better behavior. So it's kind of like you're more showing by example in a way, I guess. Number three, I use I statements to express how you feel. So like, I get distracted when you do that. Would you mind stopping? So I get distracted when you, I don't know, type with your feet, clicking fingernails, something like that. Or I get distracted when you listen to loud music. So you make it more about how it's affecting you. I think that could be kind of defensive, though, I have to say. I don't know if I'm so crazy about that one. Number four, suggest a compromise or alternative. Would you mind doing that somewhere else? Right? So, don't do that near me. Do what you need to do, but please, honor my space, that kind of thing. It's a bit distracting. So again, offering sort of like a reason why it's affecting you, and be respectful, not disrespectful. I understand I cannot see that, not be a big deal to you, but it's bothering me, so could you please stop? And a lot of these, if you're yelling, all of these sound really harsh. But if you say this in a nice way, a soft tone, a lowered voice, with the right body language that's, unsort of aggressive in a way, then you're going to get through better to people. I will post these slides, the ones like this one, for example, on Instagram so that you will have them later on this week. So yeah, you don't have to write anything down or screenshot and lose it later. I will put it on the Instagram. Let's boogie on to the next one. And we have another brainstorming activity, which I think is going to be a really fun one. And so you've done a lot of really good brainstorming today. So now we talked about pet peeves when we're at social situations and public spaces. But now let's talk about pet peeves that are at home. Let the games begin. So lots of things can bug us with our family members, with our partners, with our kids when we're at home. So what are some things that you have that are pet peeves at home? What can you tell me? One of my pet peeves happened yesterday. So Peter will tell me, because I'm always late. So I understand. He's always worried that I'm going to be too late. So he tells me a time. So he said, we need to leave, let's say it was 12:30. But then he'll come in and tell me we need to leave, he'll come in at 12:15 and be like, we need to go. Let's go. And I'm like, no. I still have 15 minutes. So that's one of my pet peeves. If we say that we're going to leave at a time, let's leave at that time, and don't come and stress me 15 minutes earlier. That's my pet peeve. Let's see, Carmen. But it's also good to offer alternatives for them if you ask them to stop listening to it loud. A phone, for example, maybe try headphones as a suggestion. Exactly, to have a nice solution. It's again the thing with you look stressed. Do something nice, like have some sort of option. I get you. Leg jiggling, ooh, is really annoying, but I don't know how to ask to stop. Yeah, at home. Yeah, my daughter does that, and I'm just like, stop it. My son too. Both my daughter and my son. It's this little nervous leg going up and down. Yes, that can be a pet peeve. when somebody does that. Any other pet peeves at home that you can think of? We have such a huge variety of options here. Everything from cleanliness to, sleep times, eating habits. There's so much that can annoy us at home. I mean, like so much. Pet peeve at home, empty toilet paper roll, Alessio too. Or people who hang the toilet paper the wrong way around. Okay, wait, Carmen. What's the right way? What is the right way around? Don't make me block you. So yeah, what is the right way around for the toilet paper? Philippine Madame, mine is when people dip their bread in hot drinks. I can throw up just watching someone do this. And for me, like a lot of people like take a cookie, and dip it in milk. And I'm like, that is so gross because you have all the crumbs and it's sticky and nasty. And the last sip, like, oh, bah. I hear you on that one, big time. But hot milk and bread, yeah. Okay, I don't know that. But similar thing, very similar thing. Can anybody tell me any other things at home that drive them crazy? One of the pet peeves that Peter has with me is I showed a meme a couple weeks ago where it's like there's two people in a relationship. Basically, there's like the Swedish architect when it comes to putting dishes in the dishwasher. It's super organized. It's all beautiful. Everything's going to get clean. And then there's like the raccoon who just throws everything in. I'm the raccoon and Peter's the Swiss architect, and it drives him crazy. So I put things in. He goes back and organizes it in the way that it needs to be done. So that's his pet peeve with me. Leaving the toilet seat up. Yes, that's a classic. Let's see. How to describe the side where you pull it off is on the front to me. So okay, like you can have the toilet paper going over or under, right? So like you pull the roll on top or you pull it from underneath. I think that you mean on top, so I can still love you. Yeah. So let's see. My husband puts everything until time limit, and that makes it really nervous. Okay, so he times everything, and then you're totally nervous. Please, Jen, don't start on the dishwasher. It's a big international subject. It is. I think people can get divorced because of a dishwasher. Leaving the lights on. Another classic, definitely can become a pet peeve for sure. Definitely. Over. Okay, Carmen, I love you. We're still a thing. Yeah. Toilet paper. Brigitte, if we want to go somewhere and I already put on my coat and shoes, and my husband tells me he needs to go to the toilet. Oh no. So this is the classic thing. So you're standing there just waiting, like, all right. Any other ones? Otherwise, we will hop on to our next point. Thank you, everyone, for contributing so wonderfully today. Super appreciate it. Let me see what I have on my list. Leaving lights on, like Alessio said. Over is the only way, right? I still love you too. Good. Squeezing the toothpaste from the middle. I do that. I'm guilty of that. Right in the middle. Let's see, not respecting personal space, not cleaning up after yourself. If you have teenagers, you know all about that. Yeah, otherwise, I think let's move on. So we're still at home, but I have some questions for you based on home, and let's go. So the first question is, what's a small household habit that gets on your nerves? So do you have one in particular that gets on your nerves? Like meaning, what do I mean by that? Let's actually kind of skip that one, I think, because we've more or less answered that. If you have something you would like to add to that, no problem, be my guest. But we'll go on to number 2 because I think we kind of answered that. Can you think of some things children do that annoy adults around them? So some things that they do at home that are kind of pet peeve like. Socks in between the sofa. Oh no. Yeah. I mean, it'd be great if it were money, right? Like money and under the cushions. That would be fabulous. That would be great. For me, things like when my kids were little, They would say my name. They would say mom or mama so many times a day. I mean, to the point where by the end of the day, I would say, don't call me mom. Don't call me mama. My name is Penelope. I cannot hear that word anymore. So nothing with mom, nothing with mama, because it was mama, mom, 24,000 times a day. And so by the end of the day, I'm like, please just call me Penelope. That is what I can handle. Number two, really the noise, yelling, even when you're 2 centimeters from the right. There's no sound control. Money makes me smile. Me too, darling. Yeah. So no noise control. The mama thing for me, massive pet peeve. I love hearing mom or mama, but not 24,000 times a day. Just not. When I was a child, I always took my mom's cigarettes and threw them out the window. I think that was very annoying for her. Probably. Does she still smoke, or did you help her with her habit? What can you tell me? Any other things with kids? They leave their things everywhere. That can be a massive pet peeve. Or they say as teenagers, I'll do it in a minute. I'll do it in a minute. And that minute turns into 3 weeks. That's also a big pet peeve. That was also no fun. Otherwise, let's move on down to number 3. If you're still writing, we can still talk about these things. I don't want to pressure you, but what is something? So wait, hold on. Number two, when the kids answer, I'll do that soon. Yep, and nothing happens for hours. You're lucky if it's hours. I had weeks. And I would be very stubborn about it. Like whatever needed to be cleaned would start to take its own life, take on its own shape and form and become this beast. I was just like, I'm not touching it. That's happening on your watch. So I tried my best, but she still smokes. She says I can't save everyone. No. Olivia, madame, they bite in 3 or 4 or 5 apples and leave them everywhere. Like take 3 or 4 bites and then move to the next one. Yes, that can be a pet peeve. All right, so let's see. Number 3, heading on down. So what is something your parents do or did that annoys you? So Carmen, you've already said your mom smoked. That was one of your pet peeves. You couldn't stand it that she had that habit, and you did what you could to try to get her to stop. What are some things that your parents did or do that kind of got on your nerves? What were things that they did or do? I'm trying to think with my dad. Oh, I know. And this is a silly one. So I am the queen of why and the queen of questions. So I want to know everything all the time. And that's really annoying. So I would ask him crazy questions like, Dad, why is a light bulb called a light bulb? And he would always just answer these questions with, because Mr. Light Bulb back in, whatever year it was, he invented it. And so he would never take my questions seriously. This is pre-internet, so I could not Google it myself. But yeah, so that kind of was like a pet peeve. I mean, don't just say you don't know. My husband just delivered me a cup of tea and cookies. How sweet. I have no problem with him. He's such a perfect partner. It sounds like this was the right timing for that. My mom, unfortunately, is a very negative thinking. That's annoying. So it's a pet peeve of yours that she thinks in such a negative way. That surprises me because you're so positive. Congratulations for you for breaking the spell, let's say. Okay. Any other ones that anyone wants to add? Otherwise, we will continue on to our next point. Let's see where we're headed. I think that we will move on to some phrasal verbs. So if anybody wants to still comment, not a problem, go for it. We're moving on to the next thing, and I'll come back and check out what you have to say. When my dad calls me nowadays and asks me the first thing about my kids, cute but annoying. Okay, so because you want him to kind of say how are you doing? You exist too. But he's all excited about your kids. I hear you. Okay, so let's see. Let's move on to some phrasal verbs and see what we've got. So Excuse me. Phrasal verbs. 1, to wind up. 2, to take out on. I'm going to read it from here. My eyesight's bad. 3, pick on. And 4, blow up. Here are our definitions. A, to lose your temper. B, misplace frustration or annoyance on someone who actually doesn't deserve it. And C, repeatedly tease like and annoy someone. So when you tease someone, you're like, you constantly like poke them. You do things to try to like make them even more mad. D, deliberately annoy or provoke someone. So what can you tell me? So Carmen, it annoyed me that my parents expected me to know things without explaining. Yeah, that's kind of old school parenting. Yeah. Let's see. When I received a cookie from a friend's mom, they said, say the magic word, thank you. And I said, abracadabra. That's cute. Yeah. He might just be freaked out by today's topic. He might be, Chama, but you're good. You're fine. You're the greatest husband. No worries. But it's good to be able to express these things about, lots of different subjects. And not every subject can be about, positive things, but we'll approach it in a nice positive way. So what can you tell me works best with number 1, to wind up? What works best with number 1? Wind up. Let's see. Wind up. What works best with that? A, B, C, or D? What can you tell me? And if you know of any other phrasal verbs, then you're more than welcome to add them that you think fit into this topic. Totally open to hearing new ones. Alessio, thank you so much for adding an extra, I think it was an idiom. Idiom, yes. Talk the talk, you walk the walk, talk the talk, or talk the talk, walk. I always mix that up. But yes. So let's see. Number 1B, we have another guest from Ibrahim with D. And I'm going to look at my list so that I have things on board here. Yeah, and I have really tiny, Eric is not here right now, but once he complained, or maybe it was Renette, who said the answers are so easy to see. I hope you can't see them so easily today. Yuki saying 1D, question mark? All right, so let's see. Number 1 is D, to wind up, to deliberately annoy or provoke someone. So often when you have a brother or a sister, when you have a sibling, you try to wind each other up. So you try to make them as annoyed and push every button because you know those buttons best. Not always, but sometimes you might do this. And so you wind someone up when you try to get them annoyed or angry, you try to provoke them and and have an effect on them. Let's move on to number 2, to take out on. What can you tell me works best with number 2, take out on? Number 2, take out on. Number 1 was D, and number 2, let's see what you have to say. Number 2. It's kind of slow today. I mean, your answers are so great. I don't know. 2 is B then. Okay. Yep. Let's move on then. Yes. So Philippe, Madame, you are so correct. And both of those are kind of similar in a way. So, so to take out on is misplaced frustration or annoyance on someone who doesn't deserve it. So you can take your anger out on someone. When you take something out on someone, you're giving them what's inside of you, you're slapping it on them. And they usually say, like, if you meet someone in public and you don't know them and they act in an unkind way towards you, then they're taking out their frustration, their anger, their sadness, that whatever's inside of them, they're taking it out on you. It's often not personal. It's often, something that is going on within themselves. Otherwise, a person who's sad, who's in control of their emotions and knows what's going on, do not need to take things out on people. I need to learn all of them. Yes, cool. Okay, B is a new one. All right, very cool. Then let's see number 3, to pick on someone. So, and you, yeah, I'm always want to give you the answers right away. I don't want to like have you have to work for it. You see what my mothering style, my parenting style. So to pick on, what is pick on? One was D, two is B, and three is? Jen, can we say for answer D, gaslighting? Let me see again. Hold on. Wind up. Uh, Not so much, dear. Thank you for asking. Gaslighting is more when you make people think that they have the problem, but you actually do. So it's more when you try to convince someone of a different reality. If I were to go to, no, I don't want to even put that into the universe, but let's say Jane thinks that her husband is cheating on her, and he goes to her and gives her all these reasons why that's actually not true, then he's gaslighting her. He's trying to sort of manipulate reality and make her think that actually it's her fault. That she's crazy. Why would you think that? I work all day. How could I ever cheat on you? You're so ungrateful. You know, that kind of thing. That's when you gaslight someone. You make them think that something is their fault. Thank you for using that word and for asking the question. So 3 is C. Lots of C's coming in. Exactly. So to pick on someone is to, hold on, can't read it here. Repeatedly tease and annoy someone. So if you want to wind someone up, you can pick on them. So when you pick on someone, at some point you're going to wind them up and they're just going to explode. You're welcome, dear. And last but not least, for a blow up, here we go. Then they will blow up, right? So number 4 is to suddenly lose your temper. You blow up. So then that way, yeah, 4A, I knew this one. Okay, so if you blow up, then yeah, you lose your temper and you get very, very angry. I'm glad we had some new ones. That's awesome. So moving slowly along, we're moving now to transportation and things that can, 4 is the hardest one. Okay, let me see. 4, the hardest one in which way? Like in understanding the meaning or using it or not doing that? I don't know. What do you mean, Abraham? I'm curious to hear what you have to say. Now we're going to move on to driving. Okay? Because this is a big one too, right? Here, I think I have to scooch over a little bit because the rear view mirror is in my head. Makes me look like I have a big ear. Hold on, let me give myself a big ear. All right. So, poll. Which of these driving habits drives you crazy? Is it A, tailgating, which we talked about earlier today in the quiz? When somebody drives really close to you and doesn't give you enough space, this is called tailgating. Or is it B, not using turn signals, C, slow drivers in the fast lane, or D, running red lights? Which of these do you feel is like the most annoying, which driving habit, which one drives you crazy, which is your biggest pet peeve? I'm an A person. An A person. What is an A person? Let me see what A. 4A. You blow up? No, you lose your temper. You lose your temper and blow up. Really? Okay, B drives me insane, not using turn signals. Totally, for me too. It's like, communicate with me, folks. Come on. We're all on the street together. Let's communicate, all of those. Okay, and maybe there's some that I've not added. So if you would like to add more to this list, please feel free to do so. Yeah, let's keep the conversation going if you like. For you, Carmen, it's tailgating. Tailgating really freaks me out because I always feel like if I need to slam on my brakes, then that's not going to be a good situation. You're going to be, in my trunk, basically. So yeah, I find it scary and dangerous, and that one freaks me out on a more fundamental level. Slow drivers in the fast lane, I don't know. Tailgating, backseat driver. Thank you, Hitoko, for our word. That person who needs to constantly tell you how you need to drive better. Basically, it's like Alessio's backseat driver, the person who comes into the kitchen who wants to tell you how to cook better. That's not a term we would use, but it's equivalent to that. Running red lights, it means the light. Wait, sorry. Running red lights, does it mean the light when there is fog? So maybe you don't see it, maybe. Carmen says honking. You know, some cultures honk a lot. I've never lived in a culture that honks a lot. In New York City, people honk a lot. But yeah, I've never lived there. Cutting on the road, so cutting in front of you, absolutely. People on their iPhones while driving, also another one that's pretty scary and freaky when you see someone who's clearly on their phone. It's really difficult nowadays because like you don't know sometimes like at night when you're driving, it's hard to tell sometimes if someone is on their phone or if they're drunk. Right? Because they're just kind of like swerving a little bit. It's scary. Driving with unstoppable speeds, driving at a fast pace, tailgating is the most dangerous. I think so too. For me, it's very aggressive and not cool. And it's a lot of people thinking that nothing bad is going to happen, but I think a lot of accidents happen with that. And like we said in the quiz earlier today, a lot of new cars have signaling inside. So if you get too close to another car, a little beep, beep, beep goes off, and then it will tell you that you're too close. So maybe that will help with that. Because I know that, like, you know, if I'm in a car with Peter and I'm like, you're too close, you need to have more space. He's like, dude, really, you know, but the car would tell him and I wouldn't have to, and it might save our non-marriage, right? Tailgating is the most dangerous. All right, let's see, where are we headed? So we've done our poll. Let's move on to some more travel and transportation related topics here. Oops. Excuse me. So number one, do you have any pet peeves related to traveling or public transportation? Ooh, another one, right? What are some things that bug you about traveling or public transportation? I'm just going to go right at this because I think it's so stupid that we are not allowed to carry liquids over 100 milliliters. I just, why? Why do we still have this? I can carry matches. I can carry scissors. I can carry all kinds of dangerous items with me. And I don't understand why when my makeup remover that's half used is like, you know, this much is left in it, but the bottle says that it's 120 milliliters, that it needs to get taken away from me. I don't understand this. So for me, traveling, number one, like, let me have my liquids, go away. You know, seriously, I don't know why that's still in place. Maybe somebody has a good answer. Maybe I'm just not educated. But for me, every time I get something taken away, this happened last week, and I was just like, really? You know, come on. Why? Why? So any other options that you want to say? We can move on down as well to number two. Do you have any pet peeves about how people drive? So different driving styles. So people get up as soon as the plane landed, and people clapping their hands. That's so annoying. Okay, so first of all, you land, and then everyone's like, "Yay, you did your job. We're alive." And number two, the getting up. This drives me crazy. It's like there should be organization. You know, just because the person in the 32 in row 32 needs to make it to the out as fast as possible for no specific reason, they need to jump, and then you can't get your things, and it's no. Everyone get row after row after row. Alessio, I'm 100% with you. When I used to work at New York City Airport, I didn't know you did that. People act like they left their manners and sense at home. I can bet. I can imagine that. When people don't get their planes on time and you have to wait, and then the flight has a delay because of them. Okay. You mean because they don't reach it, and so everybody's waiting on the tarmac for these people who didn't make it to the airport in time. Gotcha. Okay. And when they stand up to go down immediately. I think you're saying, Lorena, what Alessio's saying, that as soon as the plane lands, everyone's like getting all their stuff out, and it's like, no, row after row. Let's see. The big person on the next sheet. Sorry, the big person on the next sheet international flight. I'm not sure what that means, Yuki, darling. Help me. Kicking my seat from behind. Yes. Okay. Excuse me. So you're sitting in the plane, and everything is super tight nowadays, right? No leg space. And then this tall person is kicking the seat, or a little kid, maybe even, is kicking your seat. Yes, that can be annoying, especially on like a long distance flight. You want to just like slip in a little sleeping aid into their cocktail. All right. Anybody have anything else that they would like to add to this one? I think we have a third question. Okay, second question do you have any pet peeves about how people drive? Backseat driver, thank you, Hutoko, for offering that one earlier. So what do people say about your driving skills? Now it's time to be a little honest here. So I had a passenger late for a checkup because she was getting a manicure at duty free. I will never forget. So a plane was delayed because this lady had to get a manicure. No, I was talking about when people arrive too late and have to be called out, and I'm sitting on my plane and I can't start because those special people arrive late. You're talking about what Philippi Madame was saying, how maybe they were in duty free, doing some duty free shopping or getting a manicure or something like that. Kids running in the aisles, classic. Yes, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Any other things, and how do people rate your driving? Do you think that people have pet peeves about the way you drive? Evidently, I am too nice when I drive, and this drives everyone in my family crazy. I'm like, no, you go. No, you go. And you can go too. Sure, go. So, yes, please. And they're like, just go. Just go. It's your turn now. You can do this. And I'm like, no, I want to help people. So, yeah, my family wants to kill me. I'm evidently Mary Poppins on the road. A blind Mary Poppins, because I don't know. I just kind of sometimes see things and sometimes don't. Any things that you can add about the way that you drive and how people say your driving skills are? Any potential pet peeves that might come out that people might say? And then we're going to jump into a story, a picture story. So, that I take turns too fast, okay? Yeah. Barbies on planes. The platform is, baby, sorry. I misread. Babies on planes. The problem is not the baby, it's their parents who don't buy them over ears to protect. Buy some, I don't know what that is. Something to protect their ears. Guilty. Yes, for driving. I also drive very fast. So if there's nobody in front of me that I can help, then I drive very fast. In fact, I lost my license in Germany for 1 month because I drove too fast. So yes. They say, yeah, drive too fast. So we had like a little club here, the fast drivers. I got my truck driver's license about 13 years ago, and I am a masterpiece. So everybody says that you are the best. Natalia, aggressive driving. Fast as well. Do you want to join Alessio together with me as for fast driving as well? And in Germany, it's a good thing, right? I can hit the Autobahn and but now Peter's like, don't do that. So he doesn't like it when I drive over 160. So yeah, he's killed that. All right, let's slowly move on to some idioms related to pet peeves. Do y'all still hear my voice is not 100%? I feel like I'm still kind of working on this cold in a way. This looks like it's wrong. Is that, yes. Okay, so something is out of order here. We'll see what's going on. So oh, wait, hold on. I mixed something up. Hold on. Where's our story? Where is our story? Did I forget to download one? I think I might have. Sorry, folks. No story. Okay. But we can make up a story if you want. So that was that. And then, hold on. I don't know what I did. Oh, Mano. General annoyances that comes after. So this is where where we are right now. I don't know where my story is. I would have to leave us here on YouTube to be able to access that. So I'll maybe put a story in. I'll post it as a post here on Instagram. And if anybody would like to write anything, you're more than welcome to do so. You always have such great ideas. So I'm kind of bummed actually that we don't have this story. But general annoyances, okay? And these are good. What is the most annoying question that you get asked? What is the thing that bugs you most? So let's see. My husband used to drive too fast and it freaked me out. I'm studying hearing, so it's a big problem that so few people know about these over ears for babies. Okay. Their ears are not developed enough for pressure. So I used to always give my kids bottles, something to drink, and that helped back in the day. Nowadays, he's a very gentle driver. You've trained him well. When did you finish studying? Sorry. When are you going to finish studying? So Carmen, this is the question that you get asked that drives you crazy. When I see truckers look at their phones, it freaks me out. Oh my gosh, totally. 100%. That's very scary. But what is the question that you get asked the most that annoys you? For me, I have to say, I mean, with American elections, everyone thinks that I am an expert. So after an election in the United States, I get asked, like, how can that happen? Why do people vote for this person? And I don't want to be the spokesperson for my country. I just don't. So it's annoying. I don't always want to talk about politics, and there's no real right answer. So it annoys me when somebody controversial gets elected in my country because I have to answer it. Hey, Renette. Hello. I didn't know you were here. Welcome. The most annoying question to me is, why aren't you married yet? Yep. Why aren't you married? When are you going to finish studying? You are America. You have to know. I know. It's like, yes, I'm one of 80 million something people or whatever, right? So I don't want to answer that question. Not necessarily. With some people who I'm close to, sure, no problem. I've had a couple of people write me on Instagram, and that's totally fine. But all in all, the person at the checkout stand at Rava, Carmen, right, at our local grocery store. Do I need to answer this? No, don't ask me. And so, yeah, that kind of thing is that gets on my nerves. That's one question that I get a lot. It used to be, when are you getting divorced? But I did that, so that's done. So that question doesn't have to bother me anymore. Anybody else have anything else that they would like to share? A question that you are commonly asked where you're just like, come on. I think Yuki, you had one earlier with the kids thing, and Hitoko, you had one with the job. So this is you've kind of answered that in a way. Are there any other things that you can think of? Me too. When are you guys getting married? Mind your own business. I always say, like, we're married in our hearts, and then you can see like people getting sick in their face, like, we're married and our souls are married. It's so much more than a legal document. So yeah, I don't know. Any other ones? Otherwise, we will slowly move on to 2. If you were writing something and you want to continue answering number 1, no stress, continue on. But we're moving on to 2. What annoys you about yourself? What is your pet peeve about yourself? So, what is your pet peeve about yourself? What bugs you about yourself? For me, it's my lack of direction. I will use your answer. Yeah, please. Why did you change your job leaving your big safe company? Okay. Yes. So why risk things? I hear you. Is that new, Alessio? Did something happen? Sorry. Yeah. And so for me, I have no sense of direction. I drive myself crazy. I drive Google crazy. I drive everything that's trying to lead me around this planet crazy because I have no sense of direction. It will even say the little arrow will be like, go this way, follow the blue line. And I can still mess it up. And it bothers me, but I don't think I'm ever going to learn this. How are you living without working? Is it frequent? Okay, so you get that question as well. A headache. I don't fold my laundry directly when it's dry. Do you sleep with your laundry? I did that for a while. when my life was falling apart, I was just like, I'm too stressed to fold laundry. So I just put it at the end of my bed. I just couldn't. I hate myself for always saying excuse me and for avoiding confrontation. Okay, so but that's I do. Is that a typical French thing? Would you say, or is that your own special thing? Because I would think that French people don't. Because that sounds like a very English-speaking kind of thing. We do this a lot in the States. I think also my British friends are the exact same way. Avoid confrontation. Say excuse me. Say I'm sorry, just to make things smooth and move on. But I wouldn't think this is a typically French thing. So I'm curious if this is your thing. Maybe you can tell me that. Anybody else have anything they would like to confess here? Here, you're more than welcome. This is my microphone. Let's see. Feels so messy. I hate that about me. But yeah, I have a lot of stress. Yeah, so you need to do what makes sense for you. I hate it when I cannot make a decision, but I stay on the fence. Super. And so when you're on the fence about something, it means you can't decide between different things. So you're on the fence. It means that you're indecisive. Thanks for using that idiom. That's a great one. I can read a plan. Fortunately, there are ways. Okay. I am not able to say no to my daughters. Oh yeah. I do. It's same. But she gives me this look and I'm just like, don't. Yuki, I can't go to sleep without cleaning my kitchen and shower room because even though I'm extremely tired. So you clean your kitchen and your shower when you're really tired, and this is a pet peeve that you would like to work on. Join the club. I have a bad sense of direction too. Google Map doesn't help. No, I mean I really feel like it wants to start yelling at me. Like, look, I told you 6 times turn left. Why are you going right? So yeah, Hitoko, I totally get it. The shower room. I understood. Okay, so let's see. This is the last one here on this. Is there a word or phrase people say that bothers you? Like think of something in English, maybe. Maybe you have something in your own language if you can't think of something in English. But basically, so like the word authentic, there are a lot of these buzzwords, and I was trying to, because Peter and we have a whole list of these things, but I can't think of any right now. So this is kind of sad. This is the exact moment to share all of the words that bother me. But like the word authentic, it's so overused. I cannot hear it. We are pregnant. Yeah, no, Parisian people are known for being direct. I'm working on it. Okay, dear. Directions. So yes, so directions. I don't know if that's the word that bothers you or not. So we're pregnant. For me, authentic. It's like it's authentic. Everything is authentic. It's so real. I don't know. There are a lot of words, but I can't think of them right now. This is not good. Does anybody have anything else? These sort of buzzwords, these words that become popular where you're like, I cannot hear this expression or this word anymore. I have so many ideas and I procrastinate instead of taking action. Yeah, I do the same, I have to say. With some things and with some things not. With taxes and with legal things and with paperwork, miss procrastination. With content for us here, woo, I'm on the ball. Let's do it. To gender, yes. Yeah, I don't want to get canceled, but I agree. Yeah. So, anything else that you have on your list that kind of drives you crazy and you wish would sort of go away? Weight. So, talking about people's weight. Yuki, do people talk about people's weight in Japan? I mentioned earlier, there's this is precious Vietnamese girl who has a German boyfriend, and she has an Instagram account, and she was saying how in Vietnam, like small talk, like if people see you and they want to have small talk, they will comment on your weight, like, oh, you look a little fat, like, and be really direct like that. Is that something that people do in Japan as well, or is that something that seems to be more Vietnamese or from her region in Vietnam? You cannot you cannot have your cake and eat it too. Okay, that annoys you. Yeah, I want my cake and I want to eat it too. So go away. Yes, a lot. Really? Okay. I wonder. So, I mean, I don't want to like make a blanket statement, but I wonder if this is more of an Asian thing. Very rude. Yes, it is. It's like it's so not anybody's business how big or small someone is. Why would they put that pressure? And everybody has a different body type. But yeah, okay. Because I was really shocked when she did a video about what life is like in Germany and how she feels so much more body positive. Another word that kind of drives me crazy these days, but it's a good thing where you celebrate your body and you don't shame yourself for the way that you look. You can be body positive. Um, but yeah, so excuse me. I was surprised to learn that that's the way that that is there. All right, let's continue on. I have no idea how we're doing time-wise. We'll just continue on and see where we go. Let's see. Okay, so I think that we have now some idioms about pet peeves. Let's see what we've got. All right. So idioms about pet peeves, and I've put in some traffic for us as our little visual, because everybody hates traffic. So let's see. One, to get on my nerves. Two, drives me crazy. Three, rubs me the wrong way. Four, make a mountain out of a molehill. Five, a bone of contention. And six, on my last nerve. Our definitions are as such. A, exaggerate a minor annoyance. B, annoy me. C, makes me very annoyed or frustrated. D, irritates me in a way I can't fully explain. E, a frequent source of argument or annoyance. F, reaching the limit of one's patience. So some of these might kind of work for different things. Let's go through them and kind of check out and see what we think works best. And these are all idioms. I'm sure some of these you've heard, but these are all ones that people actually use. So none of this is stuff that I'm just sort of creating out of midair. Let's see. People are beautiful and attractive the way they are. Yes, exactly. At work, there are a lot of people with eating disorders. They nonstop talk about their weight and they are too skinny. And I would be fat in comparison, but I'm not. I know I'm not. So it's annoying. Yes. And that's this focus that we have on society, on this like ideal of perfection, whatever that is. So yeah, unfortunately. So we have one, everybody's going with one is B. And you are correct. Okay. To get on my nerves, something annoys me. Okay. So and so gets on my nerves. Or that you can also use it for things. Like, you know, that TV program gets on my nerves. That song gets on my nerves. You can use it for people, you can use it for things, gets on my nerves. Number two, not far off, drives me crazy. So yeah, what can you give me for number two? What can you say? Thank you everyone for your amazing participation today. Thank you very, very much. And again, thank you so much for us changing the day, changing the time because I was late. So thank you. Hello to you in Brazil. Welcome, welcome. We're matching here idioms. Number one, was B, and we're doing number 2, drives me crazy. So we have 2D, 2D. Philippe Madame is going with C. Can we get one more guess, maybe? You can tell me. C from Brigitte as well. So for those of you who answered C, you are correct. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to see what D is as an answer. Yeah. Okay. So the answer you'll see in a minute works a little bit better. So C is the best answer. Makes me very annoyed or frustrated. Okay. So something drives you crazy. It really bothers you. It completely. So a lot of people have a problem when someone is not on time. Maybe you live in a culture where it drives you crazy if somebody is on time. So it depends on your culture sometimes with these things, but if it drives you crazy, it really, really bothers you. What have we got for number 3? Rubs me the wrong way. What can you tell me for number 3? What works best? For number 3, rubs me the wrong way. Number 3, D. Okay, so 1 was B, 2 is C, and 3 is, let's get another guess in and then we'll go for it. Yeah. Or Philippe Madame, we'll just go with your guess. So 3 is D. So it irritates, so number 3, rubs me the wrong way. It irritates you in a way you can't fully explain. So you could just be like, my colleague, he rubs me the wrong way. When you don't have the right chemistry with someone, then they rub you the wrong way. You can't really explain it. You just don't like them, and that's totally normal. We cannot like everybody. Not everybody is going to be someone who we really want to hang out with. And sometimes people just rub us the wrong way. They say things that irritates us. They think in a way that we don't agree with maybe, but you can't really tell why that rubs me the wrong way. You can also say that, what that person said rubs me the wrong way. Hey, Gerald, welcome, dear. And now let's hop on to number 4. Thank you guys for keeping me on track. 4 is A. You're absolutely right. Make a mountain out of a molehill. I love this. So exaggerate a minor annoyance. So a mole is these little animals that live underground. And usually if you have a pretty garden, for whatever reason, they love to just like make their little mountains, their little mounds in the garden. So fresh earth, and then these little guys, and then they go on to something else. And a lot of people hate it when you have them in their garden because it makes your garden look ugly. But you can make a mountain out of a molehill. You make a little tiny problem into something that's really not that big of a deal. And that's quite often what pet peeves are at the end of the day. They're like these little problems that we have with people or things that we should probably just let go. So let's see, number 5, a bone of contention. Yeah. What can you tell me with a bone of contention? What works best? We've had number 1 is B, 2 is C, 3 is D, and 4 was A, and 5 is, thank you, Natalia, is E, a frequent source of argument or annoyance. And I'll use this in a sentence for us. So let's see. The thermostat setting is always a bone of contention in our office. So if you work in an office with air conditioning, it can be a bone of contention where everybody's like up, down, up, down, up, down. So it can be something that constantly is where you fight and argue about it, or there's an argument about it in some way. So the thermostat is the thing that regulates the temperature. And the sentence again, the thermostat setting is always a bone of contention in our office. Yeah, so it's something that people always argue about. 6 is F because it doesn't have another option. That's right, Renee. So on my last nerve, reaching the limit of one's patience. And we have this in German, so on meine letzte Nerven or something like that. We have something similar in German, but on my last nerve, that person, that thing, that situation is on my last nerve. I can barely handle it. Let me see if I have a nice little sentence. Yes, the kids screaming is on my last nerve today. So you're at home. For me, by 6 p.m., when my kids were momming me like crazy, at some point, they were on my last nerve with calling me mom. The dishwasher is always a bone of contention in our house. Super usage of that. Thank you, Philippine Madame. Perfect example. And mine as well, as you know. So let's boogie on to technology and entertainment. There's lots we can talk about there with technology and entertainment. Here we go. So question number one, what pet peeve, sorry, I have to read it here. I can't see that. What's a pet peeve you have about cell phones and computers? So any pet peeves that you have in regards to that, what can you tell me? Excuse me. I'm still like, this cold will not go away. I shouldn't be drinking coffee. I should be drinking something like ginger tea, but here we are. So anything that you can tell me with cell phones or computers? For me, it used to be a lot of programs. You had to constantly save it. And so it would drive me crazy when you worked on a document, it was nearly done. It felt perfect. And then it would crash. And then you would have to redo the entire document. But nowadays it automatically saves, usually. So that's better. The best solution is just to stop using the dishwasher for good. I hate bugs and upgrades. Yes, bugs and upgrades. Computers and cell phones have bugs sometimes and upgrades. Phone ringing during a meeting. Okay. All right. Anything else that you can think of that can be a pet peeve in regards to computers and cell phones? We talked already about people using them when you're together with them. That can be definitely annoying. Anything else that you can offer for me? A pet peeve. I'm trying to think of what I have as a pet peeve. Other than I can't use electronics. My pet peeve is that I really don't understand them. They completely boggle my mind. My family has tried to explain to me the difference between Wi-Fi and internet 500 times, and I still don't get it. It's the same. So I just use the wrong terminology, and they just roll their eyes. My husband never stops watching internet all day long. Okay, have him watch some of my live streams. It's really good for my numbers, please. Calls in a waiting room. Okay, ringing. My coworkers drive me crazy. All right, do they have like annoying ringtones? That can be one, right? When somebody has a really annoying ringtone. Let's see. When after an update settings look different. Yeah, and you can't find things. You're like, what am I supposed to do here? No, go back to the old. Okay, let's hop down to number 2. Do you believe social media has created new pet peeves? What is the difference between Wi-Fi and internet? Exactly. Is there a difference? I don't think so. For me, it's all the same thing. And let's not, yeah. I understand that this is how he earns money. Okay. But it's just pet peeves. Okay. I hear you. At some point you're like, step away. So what about with social media and with this? What kind of pet peeves do you have when it comes to social media? So I have my pet peeves is when I go live on Instagram, for example, I prepare a lesson and really I put so much heart and soul into my lessons. And then when there's bugs and you can't do anything and you can't share your slide, or like one time when I couldn't add people and 90% of my lesson was based on hearing stories from other people. So that drives me crazy because I was like, you know what? I would rather pay for this app and have it work properly than to not pay for it and prepare things and then it doesn't work properly. And that's why I have this little blue check thingy on Instagram, because I thought if I pay for it, and I thought if I paid for it, I would get better service and help when things went wrong, but it doesn't happen. So I'm going to stop paying for it. That's going to disappear, and I will have 19 euros more a month. Can you imagine that it costs that much? My Canva app, the app that I prepare all of this stuff on, costs $9.99, just to put that into perspective. So I'm getting rid of that blue check. Let's see. So I had upgrades remind me of when they sort things new in the supermarket, and then I stand there and can't find anything anymore. Right? I'm too old for this. Right. When they change the grocery store around, it's like an upgrade on a phone. Yes, maybe internet connection drives me crazy. Oh, yeah, that's a big pet peeve. Phishing emails drive me crazy, definitely. I hate when people act like their lives are perfect and you know that they're struggling like everyone else. Totally. And I don't know about you, but I have noticed that the couples that present this beautiful coupledom are usually the ones that are about to break up or having affairs or they are not doing well. It's the people who are kind of quiet, who don't share photos and this is my baby and look what they gave me and don't advertise their love. Those are the couples that are the healthiest. That's just my experience. Yeah. Okay. So let's move on to number 3, I believe. And do you have any pet peeves related to celebrities and why? So any pet peeves related to celebrities, things that kind of just drive you crazy? Yeah. What can you tell me? That's why I don't share anything too private on social media. Yeah. I mean, I talk about my relationship all the time, but I feel like we're having a conversation. So but I would never show a reel with my man. I would never show something that he gave me. I don't, things like that. No, but we're having a conversation. It's a two-way street here. And so for me, it's natural to talk about him. But yeah, no, nothing private. I enjoy Instagram, but some guys keep sending me DM even though I gently refuse to talk on DM. I am happy to communicate on the comments for the post, but they insist to talk on DM. Yeah, like not respecting people's right to privacy. Yuki, I'm sorry you're having that. Pet peeves about celebrities. They do surgeries and act as if they had none. Ooh, yeah. Right? Like, talk. Tell us what you did. We want to know. We see it, so tell us. Oh, I got the most horrible comment on my live stream with Mike the other day. And somebody wrote in Polish, but I was able to translate it. They said that I had a horrible facelift, that it was totally unnatural. So I'm going to have a lot of fun answering that one because I'm just kind of like, really? First of all, I've not earned a penny since June 2021. You think as an English teacher, I can afford a facelift? I mean, that's funny. So yeah. Anyway, people say stupid things. That's another thing on Instagram or on social media where you're like, if you don't have anything nice to say, why? Especially when people are doing things that have nothing to do with looks and trying to be cool or whatever. I really don't understand people. Let's see. For me, it's when people post nude photos online about their weight loss. Okay, so just don't want to see it. I hear you. What? That's so rude. I know. I was just like, oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. Really unpolite. But yeah, sometimes it's true. I mean, I get a lot of love, so I shouldn't just focus on the negative. But still, I just was kind of like, trust me, if I had the money, I would get a facelift and it would look good because I would go to the specific doctor. But I'm a poor teacher. So maybe she will start a GoFundMe page so I can get a facelift. I think I'll write something like that. They're unreachable. Yes, unacceptable, unreachable, very rude. Yeah. Anyway, but it is what it is. Honestly, that's the good thing with being 52. You don't really care what people say. Give me his name. It was a woman, which is another thing. It's like, no, we need to support each other. Don't be ugly. Come on. Uncool. Very uncool. But I'm old. I'm aging. That's okay. I hope people are like, no, and I'm not going to. I'll write back. I'm working on what I want to say. I want to word it properly, but I just thought, you know what? Why? You don't need to do that. That doesn't make anybody better off. But at the end of the day, I don't really care. She's jealous. Oh, I don't know about that. She's jealous of my bad facelift. Thank you, Carmen. You're sweet. But, I'm here to teach English. Who cares really what I look like, right? So, vocabulary, we have some words, and I'm just going to give them to you right away because a lot of them kind of go in synonym land. So, a lot of them are sort of similar to each other. So, let's take a look and see at our list here that we've got. Here's some vocabulary. These are all kind of related to these feelings that we can have inside that lead to pet peeves, or feelings that we experience when we do have pet peeves. So let's see. Annoying, okay? So causing mild anger, okay? So annoying, to be annoyed is before angry, right? Angry is 1 degree more intense. Too frustrating. Woman's enemy is usually woman. Yeah, unfortunately. But I'm a real girlfriend. I mean, I'm here to support everybody, not just women, but, also women, right? Like, we're all in this game together. Number 2, frustrating, making you feel annoyed or less confident. 3, irritating. And I would imagine that for my Italian friends and for my friends here with the Latin-based words, you probably have a lot of these, like frustration, irritation, aggravation, infuriation. You probably have a lot of these words already in your language. So these are some freebies for you. Great class teacher. Oh, thank you, Enrique. I think Enrique? You're welcome. Thank you for hanging out with us. So let's see. So yes, sorry. So irritating, something that causes annoyance or discomfort. Often, like, so for me, like, something that's irritating is, like, we talked about this 2 days ago, is that when you have a tag in your shirt, some people really have to cut that out because it's irritating on the skin. So you can have that sort of physically, and you can also have that kind of internally. Oh, thank you, Yuki. You're sweet. And number 4, aggravating, intensely annoying or exasperating. And I've given us already these definitions because a lot of these go in, like, kind of the same direction. So instead of just, like, trying to dissect these individually, then we have this big pot of different words. Infuriating. Okay, this one is extreme. Now you are really annoyed, and this goes in the direction of mad, infuriating. And nagging. This is persistent and an annoying and nagging feeling. So 2 meanings actually here. So for me, a nagging feeling is like you feel like something bad is going to happen and you don't know why. Like you have this feeling inside that something's going to happen, or that something's not okay, or something that is not right. So that's one thing, that's nagging. But also, when you have a partner that's like, do this, do that, constantly telling you to do stuff, right? Not just bossy. So bossy can be like, do this, do that, but like, you always forget to take out the trash. Take out the trash. Why don't you ever take out the trash? Then it's kind of this repetitive kind of thing going on. It's just at some point you're like, ugh. So 2 meanings for nagging. You can have a nagging feeling. You can have somebody who nags you as a verb, who tells you constantly to do different things. And last but not least, a word I really like, petty. Not because it's a nice word, but it's the small, minor, trivial things that often used for small annoyances. So people can be petty, right? They could just not be, they get upset for little things and not care about things. So he or she is always nagging. Exactly. Like watching a black cat. Which one? And that nagging. So a nagging feeling, like sometimes you just have in the pit of your stomach this feeling, and you have like I have this with my kids. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. Where I can have like a nagging feeling. I'm like, I don't know. I don't feel that they're doing so well. And then I'll give them a call. And like the other day, I had this with my son. I just had this feeling inside, a nagging feeling, a feeling that wouldn't go away. Okay. That something wasn't right, but I was wrong. Thank goodness. And he was like, no, Mom, I'm fine. Don't worry. All is good. But sometimes it's good when you have a nagging feeling and you act on it, and you can then maybe help someone. And petty is something for small, trivial things. 6. Aha, nagging. You mean black cat. It's not superstitious, if that's what you mean, Yuki, with watching a black cat. Like if you see a black cat, that's more superstition. Let me write it in the comments. It's a big old long word. Let's see here. Superstitious. Okay, superstitious. So that is when you see a black cat or you don't want to walk under a ladder, but this is more a broken mirror. Exactly. Those are superstitions. That's not what nagging is. Nagging is something that you feel and it just won't leave you. I'm trying, let me ask the bot to write me a nice little definition for this or a nice little word for this. Maybe will help better to use it in a sentence. Excuse me. So I'm going to say use, because I'm not coming up with anything good. Sorry. Use nagging or nagging in a sentence. Let's see. And in this case, with the feeling, this is less about pet peeve and more. She kept nagging him to clean up the garage until he finally gave in and did it. Like my teenagers, I had to nag them all the time to get them to do stuff. I got it. It's a negative feeling about something. Yes. So to have a nagging feeling, you have a bad feeling about something. Exactly. But if you nag or if you are nagged, then this means that someone is telling you repetitively to do something that you're not doing. So my children, teenagers at the time, I would ask them to clean their rooms or get all of the dishes out of their rooms. Like teenagers love to leave cups and plates and cutlery in their rooms, and suddenly you go to make a coffee and there's nothing to drink out of. So I would nag at them, please bring the dishes up, bring them up. I'm not doing it, you do it. That you feel that something bad will happen. Exactly. And you try to remove these thoughts and feeling nerves without specific reason, or like a reason you're not quite sure why it is, right? Sort of like in the direction with something rubs you the wrong way. Somebody irritates you and you don't know why. In this case, you have a bad feeling and you don't know why. A nagging feeling, something that just won't kind of go away. Like, oh, I don't know. I think he's going to cheat on me. I just feel it. I don't know. Or something like that. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't want to go there. Let's see what else we have. Yuki, are you okay with that? Is that okay, sweetie? Let me know. Otherwise, I will pull up a couple of more sentences. No big deal. Otherwise, we're going to do a little cultural thing together. And let me see, is that what we're doing? Yes, okay. So here we go. We're going to travel to a bunch of countries, and maybe this is also the case in your country. Your country might not even be on this list. If it's not, please tell me if this is true for your country or not. Or maybe this is your country and you're like, this is not true at all. So yeah, this is going to be sort of a conversation matching thing. So kind of do it. Got it. Cool. Thank you, Yuki, for the feedback. So we have United States, the United Kingdom, Japan, Germany, France, and India. And we have A, spitting in public, B, pointing. Okay. We have C, not using turn signals while driving. D, not appreciating the food or wine. E, small talk. I need to scooch over a little bit. Her head is in my head, is on my chin. Then let's see, small talk. And F, I've written both here. We have Q, jumping, which is British English, or cutting in line, or cutting the line, cutting in line. That's more American English, just to kind of have a bit of a difference here. So some of these will work with lots of other different countries, with your country. Let's turn it into a matching thing, but a very flexible one. So you can add extra information. You can talk about your country. You could tell me I'm completely crazy. This is not true. So yeah, it's a very open exercise here. So what do you think works best with the United States? Of course, there are going to be other things here that are also on this list, but the one that makes the most sense, maybe this is kind of a hard one. So yeah, let's just go and do it. What do you think works best? So with matchmaking, match the cultural pet peeve with its corresponding country. So what do you think works best for the United States? Although I have to say a lot of these do. And maybe you can tell me what you know about the United States in regards to what kind of are things that are cultural norms. Yeah, so let's see what you have to say. Sorry. Again, thank you everyone for coming and hanging out with me. Thank you. I'm so happy, so grateful, because I know it's a different platform. I know that it's a different time because I got in late with my flight. So thank you. And for those of you who are watching the replay, you can find me here at English with Jenn. And I go live every Wednesday usually, not Thursday. And we have a new topic every single week. Next week, we're going to talk about Earth. So I'm starting to plan next week's lesson. So yeah. Then I don't know, no comments are coming in. So I'm just going to start answering some of these. Thank you, Philippe, madame. So you're saying one is F. Yeah, because that's true too. They all kind of work. I've never been to the United States, so I don't know. Tell us. Okay, so the one that I have for this, but you're right, Philippe, madame. Absolutely. F is totally one. Can't choose one. I know, I know. This is kind of a silly exercise, but yeah, here we are. We're doing it. So United States, I have for United States is not using turn signals. That's a really big pet peeve. But also spitting in public, pointing, it's considered impolite, but I think that we do, point to things. So that's not impolite, but pointing at people is considered sort of a no-no. That could be someone's pet peeve, to have someone point their finger at you. It doesn't really feel good. It feels like somebody's trying to be authoritative. Yeah, let's move on to the United Kingdom. What can you tell me there? And maybe you can also tell me in your country. I think everyone's going to say not using turn signals is a pet peeve, right? Or like nobody likes that. So let's move on and let's say United Kingdom. And actually, you know what? Let's forget the countries. Let's do this. Let's completely forget all of these countries and let's just kind of go through these things and say what it's like in our country. Okay? So boom, changing this exercise totally. So let's start with just A, with spitting in public, because I think it gets too complicated with trying to match these. I don't know where I was going with this, but it's kind of an epic fail. So I'm trying to just salvage this now because I am curious. Because I think in some countries, it's perfectly acceptable to spit in public. It's not a big deal. For the countries that I have lived in, it is a big deal. It's not really considered a nice thing. What can you tell me about in your country? Yeah, or all pet peeves. Yes, exactly. So they're all pet peeves. Yeah. See, for sure. Turning. Okay. So what can you tell me? In your country, people spit on the sidewalk? Is that not a big deal? In the street? What can you tell me? Is there a country where spitting is forbidden in public? I don't know. Let me ask the bot. Is there a country where spitting is forbidden? Probably Singapore. I'm going to say Singapore. Anybody else have guesses? I'm going to Google it and you can guess which countries is it forbidden. So which countries is it forbidden to spit in public? What do you think? It's not a big deal in Germany, but I don't like it. It's disgusting. I don't see many people doing it though in Germany. Not acceptable in Japan. That doesn't surprise me. Let's see. Okay. So far I have all right, so far I have 7 countries where spitting is either illegal or somehow punishable. Spitting in public is terrible everywhere. Yes, it's disgusting. So can anybody tell me a country? And number 1, I guessed correctly, Singapore. So spitting in public is strictly forbidden and can result in hefty fines. So hefty, Hefty, is like a big fine, like, maybe 1,000, whatever they have, hefty. So I'm just going to say 1,000 euros. Like that would be a big fine. Uh, isn't forbidden, but it looks uncultured. I think so as well. So Singapore was number one. Also in Hong Kong, it can be punishable. In China, it's discouraged. And punishable with fines. Maybe in China they have they have their security system that follows people. Maybe if they see you spitting, you get minus social credit points. I don't know. There I would agree with it. Should be forbidden everywhere. Yes, it's not prohibited, but very bad manners. So Japan is on my list. They're saying here, ChatGTP is saying, while not universally illegal, spitting in public is culturally frowned upon and could result in penalties depending on the city. So yeah, United Arab Emirates, spitting in public is considered disrespectful and unhygienic. People could even face jail time spitting in United Arab Emirates in places like Dubai. So yeah, so thank you for your question, Carmen. Let's boogie on now to pointing. What about in your country when it comes to pointing? Is it like how it is in the States where you can point to an object, but not really at people, or no pointing, or it doesn't matter? What is something that could be a potential thing for a pet peeve or annoyance or discomfort in some way in your country? What can you tell me? Pointing, good, bad, whatever. I think it's fine. It's okay. Fine, horrible. And I think we'll skip C because I think in every country that's an issue. And the one that I wanted to match with D was supposed to be France. So not appreciating the food or wine is sort of like a sin in France, I would think. I don't know. Nobody does that except old, uncivilized men. Is small talk a pet peeve? In Germany, it is. People don't like small talk here, which I actually love because I would really rather talk about real things. I don't want to talk about the weather. I want to talk about how you're doing. Really, I want to experience more about you. I want to know things about you. I want to hear that way to learn about you. So I actually love that small talk is not a big thing here in Germany. Carmen, are you supporting me? Are you not? Brigitte, if you're still here as well, my German friends, small talk is not really, it's kind of, people find it annoying. They find it a little bit American, in that way, like American in a negative sense, that is kind of like, they just talk about, they just want to pretend to be your friend. So it bothers a lot of people here if you try to engage in small talk. And let's see. And with jumping, so cutting in line or queue jumping, in your country, can you do that? Is that okay or not okay? What can you tell me? Our last one's here. And then I have one last question, and then we will say goodbye. So maybe you can help me out here. What is small talk like in Brazil? So I'm not sure if people are answering or not. Otherwise, I'll just kind of move on to our next thing. Small talk is okay when you're not close to this person, but if you're friends, it is expected to be more and really know how someone feels. I agree. But Carmen, don't you think that some small talk has sort of this negative American thing that they feel like, when you go into a shop in the United States and the sales assistant says, "How are you? What are you doing today?" It's like people feel like it's a little bit like you're trying to buy their friendship in a way. 6 in my country is common in Iran. Okay, Abraham, let's see. 6. What's 6? That's India. Oh, wait, hold on. A, B, C. So what? The 6 is that queue jumping. So it's totally okay to jump the line here in Germany as well, except small talk. Everything else are bad manners in Japan. So small talk is good talk in Japan. The right kind of talk. And let's define small talk a bit. What is small talk? F. No, here we like it. It's relaxing talk about not serious things, of course, in an appropriate place. Thank you for sharing that from Brazil. Okay. So, if you want, you can tell me what's a good small talk a topic in your country. We will slowly but surely move on to our last point, which I'm curious, because for me, I don't know. All right. So, do you think telling people to calm down is effective? So when somebody has a pet peeve, they get irritated, they're all annoyed. Is it a good thing to say, calm down? Just calm down. Just, it's okay. Just calm down. What do you think? What does this do to you when someone tells you to calm down, to relax, to calm down? Is that a good thing for you? Does that help you? What is it like for you? What can you tell me? And then we'll say goodbye. Small talk regarding weather, food, and hobbies in Italy. Okay. Food always goes, I think. Hobbies, weather too, right? Weather's a very classic one. I think it's an international small talk topic. Somebody tells you to calm down. Are you calming down or are you freaking out? What is it like for you? How does this talking about the weather is a good small talk? It's been the most neutral thing ever, right? Talking about the weather. Okay. Oops, I'm losing hair. What can you tell me? With people telling you to calm down. For me, if somebody tells me to calm down, it makes me freak out more, I have to say. I don't like to be told to calm down. It's like, no, I want to be mad. Leave me alone. So yeah, when someone tells me to calm down, it pushes buttons. Talking about pets, talking about the weather, talking about pets, food, and hobbies are great small talk talks. Calm down makes me feel much more nervous, right? It's like, no, there must be a reason why I should be upset somehow. Like, no, I want to hold on to it. I don't have a problem with American superficial small talk. I prefer this over German grumpy supermarket assistant. I hear you. Totally agree. I agree 100%. I don't think so. If you tell me to calm down, I freak out. Okay, so we have three people now. Telling someone to calm down has the opposite effect. I think it works. Calm down, dude. Relax, breathe. So I think if you add dude to anything, then it kind of makes things softer. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I lived in California for 10 years and yeah. So use it in every breath basically, and it sort of like bonds you with people. If somebody tells me to calm down, I get frustrated. I don't accept it. So, and fourth one, no, it's not a good idea. We are really frustrated. I think it's better to ask something like this. Can you tell what happened to you? Listening is better. I love it. That's so constructive. Like, you look angry. Like, you look upset. What's going on? It's so much better than like, don't feel what you feel. Right? Stop feeling angry. There's something so unkind about that, I think. Tony, totally with you. Depends on the way you say it. Okay, I hear you. So Tony has requested actually that I add people during my live streams. I have to Google how to do this. Remember, I don't know the difference between Wi-Fi and internet. So we're lucky we are here. But I will try to Google that and try to not blow up the internet. And maybe next week, whoever wants to come and hang out with me and chat, I probably would do it at the end of the lesson. And yeah, that would be kind of a fun treat to be able to do that with y'all. I think won't do that anymore. Sorry, friends. Okay, I have to be careful not to say calm down or like, no. You should be you, do you, whatever works for you. But for me, it has the opposite effect. I feel like if somebody came to me when I was upset and just said, you look angry, you look like something's bothering you, what's going on? I think then to be able to express it, to let it out, to let it breathe, then I have a chance of letting go. But that's just me. Some people who was it? I think I think it was Enrique who said that when he thinks that's great, that helps him to calm down, to breathe, to just relax, dude. So to each his own, no right or wrong. So it was one of these questions just to kind of test the waters and feel what's going on, what works for you and what doesn't. So, my folks, thank you so very much for coming and hanging out with me today. Late, different day. I very much appreciate it. I wish you all a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. And thank you for your great participation. I really am so grateful that everybody comes and shares their thoughts and we have this amazing community together. Thank you, Carmen. It's wonderful having you on board. So nice to have you around today. Yeah, so I'm going to say goodbye. Goodbye. Thank you so much, Brigitte. Also nice to have you around. Nice to have all of you, but yeah, it's a nice evening now. Yes, thank you, Precious. Thank you, everyone who's stopped by. Take care, Alessio. Yes, you too. Thank you, Lorena. Thank you, Tony. Thank you very much. And I will try to figure out how to add people on this platform. I'm a little nervous, but I will figure it out, okay? Thank you, Enrique. Thank you, Emilio. I didn't see you. Randolph, is that your name? Emilio? I don't know. So have a great time. Take care. Bye.